Okay, let's be honest for a second. There's a pretty good chance you're supposed to be doing something else right now. But you're here, watching this, and you know what? That is absolutely perfect. Because if you've ever felt like you're in a constant battle with your own brain, well, this is exactly where you need to be. I want to start with what is maybe the single most important thing you're going to hear today. The thing you're dealing with, it isn't some kind of character flaw. It's a biological conflict. So let's just get this straight right from the top. You are not lazy. All right, so let's dive into that first big idea. We really need to redefine what procrastination actually is, because, frankly, most of us have been thinking about it completely wrong our entire lives.
Think of it like this. Laziness is apathy. It's when you just don't care enough to do the thing. But procrastination, that's a whole different animal. That's an internal conflict. You want to do it, you know you should do it, but for some reason, you just can't. And that one little difference, it changes everything.
So, if it is a conflict, where's it coming from? This is where we get to the really fascinating science. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the actual battle playing out inside your head, moment by moment. So inside your head, you've got two main players in this fight. On one side, you have the prefrontal cortex. That's your rational, long-term planner. And on the other side, you've got the limbic system. That's your ancient, emotional brain. It's all about immediate feelings, seeking pleasure and running away from pain. Now here's the problem. One of them is way, way louder than the other. Your prefrontal cortex is, it's the responsible adult in the room. It gets it. It understands that a little bit of work now pays off big time later. It's calm, it's logical, and it really does have your best interest at heart. But then, the limbic system just hijacks the microphone. It could not care less about your future self. All it cares about is how you feel in this exact second. So if a task feels hard or boring or just a little bit stressful, the limbic system has one mission and one mission only. Make that bad feeling stop. Now. And here's the trick it pulls. That big deadline that's a week away, your emotional brain doesn't register it as a week away. It registers the stress about the deadline as a threat that's happening right now. And so it links the very work you need to do with an immediate feeling of pain. And this brings us to this really crucial shift in thinking. Procrastination isn't your brain trying to manage your time poorly, it's your brain trying to manage your mood. When you put off that task and watch a video instead, you get a little hit of relief. Your brain thinks, great, problem solved, even though we all know it just kicked the can down the road and made the real problem even bigger. Okay, so what's the usual advice we hear? Just try harder. You just need more willpower. But as it turns out, the science shows that this is actually a pretty terrible strategy. The best way to think about willpower is like the battery on your phone. It's a limited resource. When you're stressed, when you're tired, when you're hungry, that battery just drains. So trying to fight your incredibly powerful emotional brain with sheer willpower is like walking into a major battle with your phone at 1%. You're just not going to last very long.
And this is the real turning point. The goal isn't to win a head-on fight you're probably going to lose anyway. The solution is to use your smart, rational brain to create systems that can outsmart your emotional brain's primal urges. It's all about strategy, not strength. So what does that actually look like? Let's get practical. Let's talk about a few science-backed systems you can build that work with your brain instead of constantly fighting against it. This first one is a real game changer. It's called an if-then plan, and it is shockingly powerful. All you do is identify your trigger, the if, and then decide in advance on one tiny action you'll take, the then. So for example, if I feel that urge to check social media, then I will just open the document. What this does is it completely bypasses the debate in your head. No motivation needed. You've already made the decision.
Now here's why that tiny trick works so well. Your brain actually fears uncertainty more than it fears effort. A vague goal like work on my project is huge and scary and undefined. Your limbic system freaks out. But a ridiculously small, specific action like write one sentence, well, that's so easy and clear that there's basically no resistance to it.
Next up, you have to become an architect of your own focus. Every single distraction is just an easy escape route for your emotional brain. Make those escapes harder to get to. Put the phone in another room. Turn on Do Not Disturb. The less friction there is to start your work and the more friction there is to get distracted, the better. Your brain can't give in to a temptation it doesn't even see.
Okay, so we've arrived at our final strategy. And I've got to warn you, this one is probably the most counterintuitive of all. It's not about being harder on yourself. It's about being kinder.
Yeah, you heard that right. Studies have found that when you beat yourself up for procrastinating, you create all these negative feelings. Guilt, shame, you name it. And what does your limbic system do when it feels something negative? It wants to avoid it, which, you guessed it, leads to more procrastination. It's a really nasty spiral.
It all comes down to this. Guilt just feeds the cycle of avoidance. But forgiveness breaks the cycle and puts you back in control. When you forgive yourself for slipping up, you lower the stress and you let your rational brain, that prefrontal cortex, get back into the driver's seat.
So let's wrap all this up. You aren't broken, you aren't lazy. Your brain is just doing the job it evolved to do, which is to keep you safe from immediate pain. Your job isn't to fight that programming. It's to be the smart designer who builds systems to gently guide it toward your real, long-term goals.
So that's where we'll leave it. The question isn't, how can I be more motivated tomorrow? The real question is, what's one small, simple system I can design for myself right now to make just getting started a tiny bit easier?